Welcome to another episode of Sanford Says. This is Lisa Holder, Communications Officer, and today we have special guest Pete Wilson, Street Superintendent for the City of Sanford Public Works Department. Welcome, Pete.
Hey, Lisa. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking.
Good.
So Pete is responsible for a lot of things, and of course, when you hear the word streets, that sounds pretty important because we need streets to get to where we're going and
have
safely.
A smooth ride.
Have a smooth ride. So, Pete, how long have you been with the City of Sanford?
I've been with the city 14 and a half years.
All right. So you enjoy working for the city. And
I do.
Good for you. Awesome. All right. So we're going to get right into it. We thought we'd share this podcast with our listeners so that you can listen, you can understand some of the intricacies of the Streets Division. They're not always in the spotlight, but they are oftentimes out there on the road. And we wanted to just highlight some of the wonderful things that the Streets Division is doing for the City of Sanford. So, Pete, let's get right to it. So, What really does the Streets Division do?
Well, we maintain the brick roads in Sanford, mainly in the downtown area. The historic district. We maintain the trees throughout the entire city, on all the right-of-ways in the city and some in the alleys. We do maintain the alleys as well. We maintain our sidewalks, any trip hazards, anything like that we take care of. The sidewalks are broken, we make those repairs as long as it's on our right-of-way. And just a number of things, an array of things that we take care of in the city.
Right.
The Streets Division is one of those divisions that you call on for everything.
Right.
Police department calls on us, fire department, the utilities department, stormwater. Although we share the same building, we still assist them as well.
So you work with a lot of the city departments.
Yes.
And when you speak of right of way, just so listeners can understand what that means in a nutshell, can you explain what the right of way is and how people can differentiate between a right of way and not?
Sure. Each homeowner has a portion of their property. It could be in the front of their home, in the rear of their home, in the alley, that actually belongs to the city, but it's up to the homeowner to maintain it. And we call that the city right of way, which means that at some point, the city does have say-so on that, but like I said, the homeowner should maintain that area. Each street has a property line, but we have a book that tells us what the right-of-way is on each street in the city.
All right.
And we measure typically it's from maybe the center of the road each direction. So if the right-of-way is 50 feet, then it's 25 feet each direction from the center of the road.
Can a resident call up and find out if something
Sure.
is on the right of way? So
Sure.
how would they do that? If they have an issue and they don't know what to do, they don't know if it's in the right of way like you explained, because it can be in the backyard too, right?
Correct.
What should someone do in that? Give you a call? We have work order systems, correct?
Yes, they can call Public Works, 407-688-5080.
Okay.
They can dial that number and they'll make a work order and get it out to us, and we'll come out and measure the right of way if we need to.
And can you repeat that number?
It's 407-688-5080.
All right, and so they would call that number if they have a question, if there's any kind of issues. Typically, when something's on the right of way or gone wrong, what do you find there? That would be, is there maybe a tree down or?
Yes, we get a lot of calls about trees down, especially during the storm season, because a lot of people don't realize a tree can be definitely in bad shape but we can't see it from the outside. We've had several trees fall lately that were rotted on the inside. Sometimes it's from termites, or termites have eaten the tree from the inside out. And next thing you know, it's laying on the ground and somebody's going, I had no idea, because you can't see in the tree.
Right.
So just because a tree looks healthy doesn't mean necessarily that it's in perfect health. Sometimes we have dead trees. And if it's on private property and falls on the city right-of-way, we'll come and remove that tree up to the right-of-way, where the right-of-way stops. Whatever's left on the homeowner's property, they'll have to take care of that.
All right, and they could call and find out information at that number.
Yes.
And so thank you for that explanation of right-of-way. I know
Sure.
that's a frequently used term around here.
Yes.
But for residents who may not understand that was a good explanation. So as it relates to those work orders that I mentioned, what would be the process for anything. If there's somebody, a citizen, a resident, sees something, a pothole in the road, something that's not right on the street, on the roadway, what's the best way to get that information relayed to the city of Sanford?
Again,
is that the phone number, or
yes,
do we have
you can
any
use
other?
the same phone number.
Okay.
And they'll create a work order, and at the same time, they'll call plus email myself.
All right.
If it's a pothole or a trip hazard,
Does
things
it
of that
help
nature.
to take photographs, maybe? And if they would, maybe email that to...
You can do that. Typically, if I get called out, I'll go out and I'll take photos.
Okay.
But if you want to email them, you can have my email address, which is pete.wilson@sanfordfl.gov.
And so that's probably saves some time if,
Yes.
if they would do
Directly
that.
to the source.
Right, exactly. There you go. Very, very good. All right, so let's talk about some other things. When you said you maintain and repair potholes, is this are these all the bricks you maintain and all these other types of things in Sanford, or sidewalks? Is this what percentage of what you do? Is it, and your staff? Is it 80% of what you do? Is there's a lot of potholes out there? Are you busy all the time doing these, or is it a wide variety of services that you perform?
Well, we're busy with an array of things,
Yeah.
whether it's potholes or trees, sidewalks. But the main thing is you guys are our eyes and ears out there, because we cannot be everywhere all the time. So if you do see something, say something. Call the number 407-688-5080 and give us a synopsis of what's going on, whether it's a pothole or a tree is falling down or anything of that nature, or there's bricks missing. That way we'll know and we can get right out and take care of it.
Okay. I'm a testament to that, because I saw a tree that was falling down where I live, and I called Public Works, and
Right.
next thing you know, I come home from work and the tree was gone. So
Correct.
I've got to say it was very timely. So I
Right.
understand the process too myself as a resident. So that's wonderful. So I know we have miles and miles of sidewalks at the city of Sanford. And
100 plus.
say that again.
100 plus.
100 miles of sidewalk. Oh,
Yes.
goodness.
When the entire city, same with roads. We're approaching 200 miles of roads, although it's located within the city limits. But when you string it all together, you make a straight line.
Right.
We're approaching 200 miles.
Because we're growing
Yes,
so rapidly.
yes.
And how many staff work with you in your department, Pete?
In my division, I have 8 staff members, 2 groups of 4, and we're responsible for this entire city. As far as signage and things of that nature, I have 3 guys in my sign shop, supervisor and 2 employees that work with him,
Right.
and they're responsible for all the signage in the city.
So, for instance, for street closures, for events and things like
Yes.
that, that's under your
Yes, they
division.
work in excess of 100 events every year, special events.
Okay. So there's all kinds of things that we do. And you mentioned earlier about the alleys. Tell us a little bit about the alleys. And I understand there's an alley project, rehab project.
Yes, an alley rehab project. We started it about 4 or 5 years ago. It's where we go in, we cut the vegetation back, and we rehab the surface. We take out probably about a foot of material and bring in a foot of fresh material we call asphalt millings. And we get the surface where it's smooth riding and passable. But what a lot of residents don't realize is once we're done with that, they're responsible for the vegetation in the back of their homes, because a lot of times people will wait for it to grow back and then they call the city to come out and do it again. Well, as I mentioned earlier, we're a very small division, so we can't be everywhere all the time. So if residents would maintain their section of the alley, then that would be a tremendous help to us.
Oh, right. So please, folks, maintain after the city comes through and cleans up your alleyway.
Even
area.
beforehand.
And even beforehand.
Yes.
It's your property, your area, your home. Help the city of
Correct.
Sanford.
It's no different from mowing your front yard. The whole entire front yard doesn't actually belong to you. It's city right away. So it's the
Right.
same with the alley. If it's directly outside your fence, take care of it.
All right, and so I know we have a lot of trees in the city of Sanford, so that
goodness.
must not make your
That
job
I don't have
easy.
a number for.
I know, but I know we're a Tree City, USA, and one of
Yes.
these days we'll have Elizabeth Harkey on here, our arborist. But I'm sure that those big oak trees and those beautiful old
Wow.
historic trees.
There are some trees in Sanford that are 100 plus years old, and they are humongous.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! And when those fail, then we have a major problem on our hands. But for the most part, we try and maintain them as needed.
Right.
But like I said, again, you guys are our eyes and ears. If there's a problem, just give us a call and we'll
Right.
come out and take a look at it.
And so, how do you break up the city in terms of, is it done by quadrants, or how do you do that? Maintain
Well, we have districts,
districts.
which are broken up according to the commissioners that we have. Each
Okay.
commissioner has a district. And typically we start in one district and we just kind of try to work our way out from that point.
And you do that on an annual basis, or
We try to do it annually, but we are small, so we get those calls that we were just talking about, those emergencies which we classify as A's that we have to go and take care of. So that pulls us off of our normal schedule.
right? And we are in summertime now, and lots
Growing
of
season.
rain, growing season.
Extremely just high growth everywhere with the grass, trees, and we do mow a lot of our right-of-ways in the rural areas where there's not a resident there. There may be some property owners, but it's our property.
I see.
We do have lots around the city,
Right.
so we have to mow those and our right-of-ways that we take care of on a normal basis.
Okay.
And we go from the wintertime where we may only mow them once a month to the summertime. It's almost every week, because especially when we get as much rain as we've been getting, the growth is, it's a lot.
Yeah,
It's a lot.
that Mother Nature, huh? I just
Yeah, she's something else. She's
So-
beautiful though.
Yeah. So with speaking of the rain, and you said you're in the same building and location as the stormwater division. You work, I'm sure, in tandem together, right? I mean, they do.
Yes.
They operate the street cleaners, but it's important not have all of that, the debris and leaves and all of that.
Correct. Because that would clog up our storm drains. And when we do get those heavy rainstorms, then if our storm drains are clogged, that's when we get flooding. But at the same time, you have to understand, if we get an abundance amount of rain in a short time period, then you're going to have some local flooding. But if you just give it a little bit after the rain stops, that flooding will subside.
All right, you heard that here from Pete Wilson, street superintendent. Pete, is there anything that you would like to share? We're so glad that you were able to break away from a busy day and being out on the road to come up and talk to the residents and citizens on this show, Sanford Says, because I think it's important that people hear from our superintendents and understand what goes into some of the things behind the scenes. So I really want to thank you for taking time out of your busy day, clearly. Is there anything else you wanted to say about the Streets Division? Sorry.
Well, I can't stress enough how important it is for residents and business owners to call in when there is a problem, because if we don't know, then we can't take care of it. My eyes and ears are always open when I'm riding around, going from job to job, visiting residents and business owners. But if I have your eyes as well on our city, then we can stay on top of things that much better.
Wonderful. So that's it. Give us a call at 407
688-5080.
5080, the Streets Division of the City of Sanford, Public Works Department. Thank you so much, Pete, for being
You're more
on
than
this
welcome.
show.
Not a
We'll
problem.
see you again another time.
I got to come back.
Thank you for being
You're
here.
welcome.
This is Lisa Holder, Communications Officer for the City of Sanford. This is Sanford Says. You can find this podcast on iTunes, on iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, Spotify, social media, and the city website, sanfordfl.gov. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.